Oh, she's back.
Welcome back, everyone, to Third Street Reactions. I'm Zach.
Shane.
We're back with Ahsoka, Season 1, Episode 4. Do you remember what happened last week?
Yeah, we had it felt like a classic Star Wars episode, and I don't mean that in a Clone Wars sense. I mean that in the original trilogy sense.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, obviously near and dear to Dave's heart. He grew up on it, and he emulated a lot of the things that don't get emulated a lot. Just people on a junkie ship breaking down, and we had also...
Well, they were shot.
Yeah, they were shot, yeah. And they were hiding out in the woods / which is kind of like the asteroid field. And there's something... Oh, yeah, there's also the lightsaber training scene. Mm-hmm. And one thing that we didn't talk about, Hu Yang, was obviously the numbers they were using to count, and the different little arms he had. That was kind of cool, wasn't it?
I suppose. I mean, he's had those before, though. The ones on his back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they could have done a remote droid to scene again. But they did something a little different, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about he looked like the little wiffle ball bat looking things.
He stated over and over again, to Sabine, don't give up. The only one that's stopping you is yourself. Mm. But he's also said you have the least potential out of anyone has ever seen. Yeah. I don't think that's mixed messaging. It kind of feels like it, but I think it's also
Where's computing data? He says that you have the least potential, but if you're going to succeed at whatever your endeavor is,
you have to try.
You have to do it.
And Ahsoka not training you is a poor excuse.
Just because you have the potential doesn't mean, or do not have the potential.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't make or break you.
And Ahsoka touched on that too.
Your determination.
That talent is a factor. Obviously, we see it with Anakin and some of the great Jedi.
Mm-hmm. The talent didn't get him through.
No, it didn't. He was a great warrior.
He ultimately redeemed himself.
Yeah, he's great during wartime, but that's not what the Jedi are about.
No.
You sent me some memes about, so the tight word, that's all over the place. It's like an agreement.
About Mary Elizabeth Winstead?
Yeah, well, I saw this thing.
You gotta watch it for the plot, and it shows the way she's sitting on that cart in the second to last episode.
Well, I saw that Lord of the Rings thing. It had sequel trilogy fans, prequel trilogy fans, original trilogy. They had the sword, and in the middle, it would had just Sabine. They all agree on that. It was pretty funny. Anyways, guys, before we jump in, if you want to support us, you can watch this full-length uncut reaction on our Patreon. We also have movies on there and all the other shows that we do. We also have full-length early access for up to 4 weeks. Obviously, not for this show. But now we're going to jump in.
I'm going to try again.
Affirmative.
Come in, home one. This is Fulker. Repeat. Do you read us? Over.
I will try to cannibalize some wiring from the secondary motivator.
He plays a very similar character in the 2012 Ninja Turtles series.
I wonder if there's anyone in there.
In the droid?
Yeah, the legs are so skinny.
The enemy has the map. I fear we face a difficult choice. Which is, if we can't make the journey to find Ezra, then no one should.
That's not good.
It won't come to that.
It might have already.
He'd be stranded out there. Maybe this time for good.
Better that than allowing Thrawn's return as heir to the Empire.
See what you did there.
Yeah, they keep quoting the whole book.
Yeah.
Whatever. I know Dave Filoni loves that series.
Can I count on you?
You know you can.
Is everything all right?
Yes, Scrooge.
Be careful out here.
I'm really curious how they do that droid.
I'd say it's a hit or mixture.
If they just map. Okay.
Just standing there for hours.
Master.
I believe he would.
How far out are they?
About a dozen clicks.
Tell them to move in.
Looks sad.
The gods will not delay them long.
But you will.
Is there a note of fear in your voice?
Experience.
He's so cool, isn't he?
He's fucking awesome.
I don't know what he's just.
Like that opening scene in Black Sails.
Yeah.
Where he's in that the captain's quarters.
Yeah.
Where he's writing shit out. It's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
wonder if you see that or sense that. Like, sense her stress, you know what I mean?
Relax.
Only one bullet?
That might be a cartridge from one of these magazines. Something like these things. Or these power cells. I don't know what the hell these fucking things.
Make believe.
Finally, some progress.
He gets shot.
Hope not. Just the way the eyes.
It's cool to give him a little fighting scene. I think even cooler if this is all done.
Yeah.
And practical.
I think there's some practicality to it.
I agree, but I think the HK is completely.
Yeah. Oh, he did on purpose.
That daft droid made it worse.
He wouldn't.
Yeah, get a stunt double version should be better.
Cool to see her back.
Yeah.
The color of her sabers works so well.
Yeah. There we go. Looks a little better.
Cool.
That was a good action.
Very well done.
That was a good action scene.
I need you to contact General Syndulla as soon as you can.
Of course.
She's like that guy in Armageddon
May I make one
who was gonna like blow up the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember how the lines went now.
That's a fucking good movie.
It is.
In my
Intense.
opinion.
Yeah, we talked through that.
We better get moving.
He said something about them being together, being better.
I get it.
Yeah.
Because they're smiling and having a little cheesy music. This is very classic Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
Even this is shot. And that shot.
Hell of a shot.
I'm not just gonna sit around and do nothing, Lieutenant.
But you can't leave without authorization.
Watch me.
There's a meeting of the general staff. What do I tell them?
You'll think of something.
His eyes. Why'd he do that?
You know, I'm risking an awful lot by doing this.
Pyro.
You know how it is.
Cyro?
Pyro. He's gonna play Pyro.
Oh yeah.
Have faith.
Faith. I lost that a long time ago.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Witchcraft.
I don't like witches.
I know you don't.
Going somewhere?
This is big woods. I guess they could predict where they would be.
Yeah.
Like they're running back and forth, trying to catch them.
Hopefully we'll have some better lightsaber fights between at least the chick and Sabine, or at least like performed well, you know.
We're gonna see. It's okay. Like testing.
Feels like a sword fight, like you hit and you go back, you hit and you go back.
It's more. It's like they're testing each other.
She looks good spinning it. Good move. That looked good. That looked better.
Liam Neeson stance.
Yeah. Mace does it too at one point. Obi-Wan does it, but I associate
Did
it.
Anakin do it in his fight with Dooku?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. It's actually a kendo stance. That looked good.
This is good.
Yeah.
This is a lot better than what we were seeing. Oh fuck, bro.
Oh Jesus, dead. I'm thinking.
He's a Force Ghost man. Or whatever
Like
they call it.
night,
Ghoul.
like a night
Yeah.
witch magic thing.
Got this.
You will regret this decision.
That's a long way to go. Think about
Anakin spoke highly of you.
Interesting. He never mentioned you.
Yeah.
Few would live to see what he became. Surely that must leave a mark.
And you find starting another war necessary?
I'm not starting a war, but Thrawn will. One must destroy in order to create.
Some alchemy lessons in there.
Yeah.
How inevitable.
Hope this is good.
So do I. So cut away rather than go clash. Be like this, kind of solid.
No, it suits his size.
Yeah.
Like solid and strong.
I like it.
Yeah, I liked it.
They're
Yeah.
keeping it close to the chest. Using
Yeah.
dodging techniques instead of. That was cool.
That was a Revenge of the Sith
I know,
move,
but he was there before she got there.
You have no power.
Your legacy, like your master's, is one of death and destruction.
Oh, really? I think. Nothing like him, I'll tell you that. Oh, shit. Witchcraft, Zach.
Mm-hmm. Oh!
It didn't need to come to this.
Step away from her!
Those were a lot more crisp than in the hallway. Use the Force.
You should do as your master says. Destroy it. But you're not like her, though, are you?
He knows.
No, you feel that Ezra Bridger is the only family you have left.
Oh no, Zach.
Your family died on Mandalore because your master didn't trust you.
What? That's new.
Sabine, you will be reunited with your friend. It's the only way
God. Damn it.
for Ezra.
We didn't see Ahsoka make a drastic fall.
I can't believe it.
Well, I can. We gotta finish this season, man.
I just,
They just have a cutscene of Thrawn just hanging out in wherever galaxy he's in.
yeah, but in terms of her character doing it.
Release her. I gave her my word, and unlike her former master, I shall keep mine.
You gotta kind of respect it, I guess.
Calculations are complete.
Had been right there.
Let's cut across the axis and block his path.
It's gonna blow up.
I really thought.
Yeah,
it
they're
was-
right there
I
looking
thought-
at it.
Engage the hyperdrive.
I can't imagine them dying though, because the little boy's on there.
Yeah.
And if she was gonna die, the boy I think would live. So.
Good shot.
Yeah, it was in a Kubrick film.
Oh, she's back.
Yeah, but it's like, how the fuck did she get there?
There is an explanation kind of in the cartoon.
You have to explain it because
Yeah.
I watch this shit and it's like. Is it Hayden?
Master?
Didn't expect to see you so soon.
Zach. Oh, I'm gonna freak out, dude. Yo, dude. That was such a good episode.
That was cool.
I mean, I just want to talk about the Hayden thing, but well, I guess is your question like, how did she just get there?
Yeah, that's the first question I have
So,
here. How does she just
in Rebels? You ask yourself the same question, and then like in the last season, it explains it.
Mm-hmm.
She was kind of plucked from existence into there.
Okay, so someone pulled her.
Yeah, we don't know who until you watch the last season of Rebels, and
Okay.
I don't know if Anakin did it. Maybe he did, but he sounded surprised to see her. He can't pluck her and go, "Hey, what are you doing here?"
Yeah, and
So I think it
unless
was
someone plucked him too.
Yeah.
Out of the time space continuum.
No, in the cartoon there is like a standoff, and then you don't know what happens because like the fucking Sith temple collapses, and then later on, like much later than you can possibly stand, it explains it.
Okay.
But yeah, the World Between Worlds. So yeah, I know you have a kind of an idea of what it is.
Yeah,
but
I've seen it.
But you can access all points in time from there. Mm-hmm. To what manner she can actually affect the outcome is a kind of something that hasn't been explored. I mean, maybe a little bit, but not. It seems like some things are set and are always going to happen, and some things can be changed. But before I even saw that handsome man, I was going to say this is by far my favorite episode, anyways.
It definitely has been the best episode. The lightsaber duels were stepped up.
And Ray Stevenson, it was good. It looked good. They made him like a powerful, like smooth strike. You know what I mean? And,
like you mentioned, more like medieval swordplay.
Yeah, it was essentially
I'm sure there's some intermixture of other swordplay in there, but just the basic moves and like confrontation. They're very classical swordplay versus if you're gonna put a label on it versus the flourishes and what we know.
And like you said, kind of classical films where you'd have strike, standoff, circle, tension, strike.
Tension.
Yeah. One thing I want to talk about was the actress who plays Morgan. I can't remember her name, but she was just talking about Ray Stevenson and how happy he was. Because she was talking about she had 3 days to prepare for her, which was actually a decent fight with Ahsoka in The Mandalorian Season 2. And this time, she said she had weeks. So she's probably going to fight again.
Yeah.
And she talked about how Ray Stevenson was kind of after he passed away, the first person that she saw was Ivana, the blonde chick who plays the apprentice.
Yeah.
And they were both in tears because he was kind of like a mentor to her, and kind of like in the show, funny enough. And he was like that with everyone. Everyone liked him. He was very excited about his character and the story and the lightsaber fights. So I take it we'll probably get more, but if not, that was a pretty good fight. I thought he did a good job.
No, I agree.
And it had a lot of classic elements. Like it had the seduction. I know you don't know Sabine that well. We know she cares about Ezra, but it's funny because like some of the same choices are presented to other characters in the saga, like to Luke, and Luke would rather die.
Yeah.
But Luke didn't have anyone he was banging. I'm not saying her and Ezra were banging because I don't think that happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, she gave it to him. But he sounded so non-evil, kind of.
Yeah, well, the whole
Vader, I think, is unmistakable.
It didn't need to come to this when he's talking to Ahsoka.
Yeah, he had great lines.
And obviously, he had a very pointed view on Anakin's legacy.
Yeah.
And Ahsoka, and what that means for her.
I guess I would say, like, I mean, there's been some years that the show that the Star Wars has not covered in between this and kind of the end of Rebels and what they've been doing. Her parents died on Mandalore essentially because of Ahsoka.
Yeah, Ahsoka didn't trust you.
So that's got to be, I mean, that would be a huge source of contention for me.
Yeah. Well, you can see she was kind of looking around thinking about it. So
yeah,
that was her first thought, like a revelation. Like, how do you know that? It was more like, what do you know?
Well, I loved how
I guess it could be.
Yeah. I love how he kind of closed his eyes and just downloaded all that information using the Force.
No, like Vader when he was confronting Luke in Episode 6.
Yeah.
And they're kind of walking, stalking him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sister.
Which was an incredible scene. Also, we had Carson back from The Mandalorian, and I don't know if he's been in the Book of Boba Fett, but he's back. New Republic guy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they lost half their ships. It was almost like this dark side ending. Like, we essentially had the apprentice...
Well, they won.
Yeah.
Got away. They're making off to whatever that other galaxy's name is now. I can't remember it.
And Merrick died, essentially. I think he's dead. It looked like you were right. Like, he had a... He was like a corpse, kind of like they do in the Clone Wars cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
They use that dark magic to bring people back. Reanimate them. But in that show, they were... I wonder what he would look like with the mask off.
I don't know, because he always talks funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if he was like a...
They died.
Yeah.
But yeah,
there's been a lot of rumors I've tried to kind of avoid, you know, so I can react better. But I imagine we're going to... It'd be great if we saw like a Ewan McGregor in Clone Wars armor. Like if there's some flashback to that era.
Yeah, I wonder how much they'll really cover since they're...
We're not even halfway through. There's 10 episodes.
You and I talked about kind of that you would explore options as to whether or not there was a way to avoid what he became.
Yeah.
But...
Well, I mean, I think we all know that... I mean, it makes sense narratively that she would want to do everything she can to help her friend, and then but realize like, no, this was... It's not even...
Predestined.
Yeah, it's not even so much his choices. Like, he was going to go down his path. As long as he became...
Because of who he was.
Yeah, because of who he was. And, I mean, you can make sense... If you take destiny out of it, you can obviously make sense of it on a human level for the most part. You know what I mean? Without the human element, it was still predestined. You know what I mean? Him bringing balance, but just not the way people thought. This was the best episode. Had definitely by far the best action. I mean, there was a couple little funny bits as well.
No, yeah. I agree. I think in terms of the balance of humor, action, like we mentioned the lightsaber duels.
Yeah.
We mentioned some shots with the fleet, the Rebel or the Republic fleet. Yeah, the Republic fleet.
Yeah.
You know, the shots remind you of kind of Episode 6, and a lot of homage to the old trilogy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it checked a lot of boxes.
Yes.
It didn't nail every fucking landing. Like, it was done really well.
Yeah. No, I agree. There's great thought into how bringing Thrawn back would be the worst thing for the galaxy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just logistically, and I know they would just make it the worst thing ever. But I'm just...
Well, I mean, you have to imagine right now, they said that the Imperial fleet is scattered.
Yeah.
And that what we know of in the Mandalorian series is there are warlords.
Yeah.
And they have a council, and they've talked about in the last season bringing Thrawn back.
You're right.
One of them discussed it, and the other one's like, oh, where's... Gideon's like, where's Thrawn? Come on.
Yeah.
With me.
Yeah.
And
yes, you're right. So I actually forgot about that. So they've already seeded...
Because his subordinate, I can't remember that guy's name.
Yeah.
But he was a subordinate on the Chimera.
And there was Hux's dad, too.
Yeah.
General Hux's dad, who actually in real life is Dominic Gleeson's brother.
Yeah.
An older brother playing him. Which was definitely good.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, which is a pretty good Easter egg. Because it sounded like him. I'm like, it sounds like...
Would have been great to have the other guy, though. Their actual dad.
It would be, but he's old. He's a lot older. He'd be like the grandpa almost, because I think it's like 20 years before. Loved it, and now the Anakin's back. Did you hear the Vader music at the end, though?
Yeah.
Why would they do that?
Well, because...
Is that
Balin brought up her legacy and what he became. Everyone in the Order knew Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
Few would live to know, find what he became.
That's the sting, doesn't it? What does he say? Not that snobby, but
yeah. But I mean,
he's like not snobby in any way as an Englishman.
No, not at all. But
no, he's just very cool and like is that fear? He's like experience, and just like that's a great line. And it's a great rebuttal to that passive aggressive question. Yeah, and he gave up faith a long time ago. Like he is. I mean, Mandalorian. That's an incredible fucking show, but. His character, he's so interesting.
He is.
And I mean this in the best possible way, but when I choreograph fights with Eric, or when he comes in to like choreograph something for Aaron or for me, he performs it like a big tall dude. I'm like thinking, well, I'm not going to perform it that way, but he does that like...
Well, he needs to. He's got a powerful build, and that's what you carry into a fight. He's not going to be... Like Chow Yun Fat, like bouncing off the fucking
but
walls.
But when Chow Yun Fat was fat, he was still...
I know he was.
He was still a fucking quick little guy.
I know.
Do you think Ahsoka, do you think that was a fair... I mean, I know you don't know much about Ahsoka in terms of... I'm sorry. I know besides what you have read in, like, or what you've heard about in the old EU and a little bit what I've told you about in Rebels, do you think it's fair to leave behind one of your fucking best people, your shipmates, your crewmates, member of your team, just to not have Thrawn come back?
Yeah, I would definitely feel like no immediately, but that's how I would feel like I would handle it. But at the same time, as an armchair quarterback here right now, you can look at it from a bird's eye view and say, well, like if Thrawn comes back and reunites the Imperial remnants,
it starts a war.
It starts an entirely new war when we're still trying to get a leg up.
Yeah,
and he's a strategic mastermind.
Yeah,
and not just a charismatic man that just brings people together. I mean, he's an actual strategic mastermind.
Yeah,
a guy that could actually pose a significant threat.
Yeah.
So they don't have a Death Star.
No, they don't. I mean, well, just because I know Anakin would never, ever let Ahsoka or Obi-Wan.
Yeah, he'd find a way to do both all the time. He's like a Spider-Man dude.
Yeah, he'd find a way to do both, and I guess I would think that maybe Ahsoka would inherit that a little bit,
Well, obviously she's pretty callous in this season.
She is.
I would say, if anything, that's the best way to describe her right now. Is she's a very callous person.
She's
like she's coming out of it a little.
Yeah.
But mostly it's kind of reserved, callous, kind of guarded.
Yeah, they definitely.
Just fucking hit a Ring moment here. Destroy it.
You're right.
And she fucking handed it over.
And they all their scenes were good, man. Like him and his apprentice and Ahsoka, and that scene was really good. Mm-hmm. They did a great job. I think if everything was almost as good as this episode,
I really hope
it would be a great show.
Anakin's done well, and not like, oh, here's Anakin, folks.
Yeah.
And like, we're just gonna ham it up.
Yeah.
Because it's Anakin.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Hayden Christensen, fanboys and fangirls.
Yeah.
Love it because it's him. Like, I hope it's actually an important piece of the puzzle, and not like, oh fuck, man, sorry, bro, you can't change what happened.
If that's what she's going to do, I don't know if that.
I think it could be done well, tastefully, like have some cool scenes and some cool imagery that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. But I just really hope that it's a significant piece of the puzzle.
Their meeting has to do something for her character. I don't mean she's gonna come back all happy, but
no, I don't imagine her being a giddy little teenager.
Like, cause you haven't seen Rebels, but like the way she views Anakin's fall, like I think there's a lot of self-blame.
Which she feels like if she was there, it would have been different.
So like obviously that situation with her feelings needs to be rectified by the time he's not in it. But by the time she leaves the World Between Worlds, like it needs to be. Like, that needs to be rectified, and I would just love if Ewan made a surprise visit and they had, like, some Clone Wars flashback. I mean, that would just be fucking great. I wonder who they get to play a young Ahsoka.
I don't know, like Jenna Ortega, just throw her in there.
She can work.
There you go.
Yeah. And, I also noticed that he didn't look fucking old.
Yeah, it looked like they did a little bit of de-aging on him.
They did a little bit, but it was better than the de-aging they didn't do very well in the Kenobi series.
Yeah. But they
gave
it a try, and
they gave it a try. I mean, and he was too jacked. Like, he put on like 25 pounds for the show, and then when they did this flashback, he had to be like the skinniest version of himself. So they had to make him with long sleeves and stuff. He was definitely thicker too.
In that scene there?
No, in
Kenobi.
Yeah, I think he looked skinnier there actually than he did in Kenobi. In Kenobi, the actor.
He did look skinny. I'm just saying. I'm trying to verify what you're talking about.
Yeah, the actor himself, because he knew he's going to be in the suit.
Yeah, he bulked up.
Yeah, but when he's not in the suit, he looks a little different than he did when he was 19 because he's more muscular. Anyways, no, I loved it. It was great. Best episode we've seen so far.
Agreed.
And can't wait the next week, guys. We're out of here.